2023 has been a very challenging year. There are a lot of external factors that are impacting. So if you look at it from a macroeconomic perspective, the country is doing extremely well. If anybody can provide me an investment that gives me the highest return, the lowest risk, and lots of liquidity, I'm more than happy to invest my own money in that. There is no such investment available, correct?
Welcome back to Hidden Masters bersama saya Ardina Glenda. Mengelola dana triliunan rupiah tentu bukanlah hal yang mudah, apalagi menjadi seorang presiden direktur dan CEO dari sebuah aset manajemen. Kita pengen tahu bagaimana kisahnya? Langsung saja yuk kita tanya Pak Naresh Krishnan, Presiden Director dan juga CEO dari Principal Asset Management. Hello, Mr. Naresh.
Hello, Glenn.
Okay, how are you doing these days, sir?
I'm doing extremely well. Thank you.
Okay, so what have you been doing recently?
We are in the business of asset management. So our job is to ensure that we monitor the market, we identify opportunity, and see how we can serve our customer better. And that's what we are all working towards too.
Okay, how is the opportunity so far in 2023?
2023 has been a very challenging year for our industry, right? Given that there is a geopolitical challenges going on. We have a war in Ukraine, and plus we have high inflation in US. So there are a lot of external factors that are impacting. But from Indonesia perspective, we as a country, we are looking very, very good. And so this provides us a very unique opportunity, and we are trying to capture that particular opportunity and see how we can provide the right solutions to our customers. So overall, I think from Indonesia perspective, we are looking very positive.
Okay, so how much money does Principal Asset Management manages now?
Right now we have assets of around 4 trillion, but our game plan is to double and triple in the next 3 to 5 year period.
Okay, so what is the strategy to achieve that?
The key thing is, I think our business is how do we enable Indonesian customers to build wealth over a longer period of time and achieve their life objective. So that is the core value proposition that we provide.
Okay, so recently our index just reached 7,000 again, and we know the performance this year has not been that, spectacular. So how do you tackle that, and how do you incorporate that so that your mutual fund products will surpass the index?
If you look at the overall business environment, once again, very, very positive. You look at the earnings, it is also looking very good. And luckily, we are blessed with a lot of commodity and a lot of other opportunity as well. So from a valuation perspective, we feel the Indonesian equity market is very much attractively priced. You understand now? The reason why the market is not able to build on that or capture that particular opportunity is the global headwinds, the uncertainty, and the potential risk that could come across because of external factors. But that is what provides the right opportunity as well, you understand now? So the valuation looks attractive, the prices are looking very attractive. So if investors have confidence, and the most important thing is the staying power. If you have the holding power, this is the right time to enter the market. And if you have a 3 to 5 year horizon, I think you should be much more comfortable in taking that particular position and enjoy the fruits of those opportunities.
Okay, you mentioned global factor. Now, as we know, China's economy is declining. How does that affect Indonesian market?
China is a major global player. They contribute to the global economy significantly. So anything happens to China, there will be an impact to the entire world. So we cannot isolate ourselves nor any country in the world can isolate themselves from changes to major players like China. So we need to be careful and we need to be cognizant that there are economic challenges. China is going through a very painful period where it needs to move away from export orientation to domestic consumption. So that transition is taking place. But actually, this also provides an opportunity to countries like Indonesia, even for that matter, Vietnam. All these countries are benefiting because the entire supply chain is moving away from China to other countries. So there are opportunities, but there are risks that we need to keep in mind as well.
Okay, Mr. Naresh, you mentioned a time span horizon of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Is that what you are focusing at here at Principal Asset Management here?
That is what we recommend our customers. You understand? Now, the interesting thing about the equity market is always volatile. Correct? But there are so many things that contribute to the earnings and to the potential valuation of these companies, and that gets reflected on a daily basis. So if you are risk averse and if you are not comfortable with volatility, then you should avoid this particular asset class in totality. But if you are comfortable in taking risk and you are comfortable in managing risk, then this is a very interesting asset class. And one recommendation we tell is, whenever you are investing in equity, you need to have a 3 to 5 year time frame, because in 3 to 5 year time frame, the fundamental of the investment will come out in a much more better manner rather than in 1 month or 2 month period. You understand?
Are there any differences between what a retail client wants and what the institutional clients want?
In any investment, right, for any investor, it doesn't matter whether it is retail, whether it is institution, there are 3 things that the investors want, correct? Of course, the first one, you're already smiling, you know what is the answer. Now, obviously, they want high return, yes. Correct? So clearly, everybody wants high return. And then they want the lowest risk, correct? And they also want high liquidity. Whenever I want, I should be able to get the money back. So my joke is very simple, right? If anybody can provide me an investment that gives me the highest return, the lowest risk, and lots of liquidity, I'm more than happy to invest my own money in that. There is no such investment available, correct? So you always need to sacrifice one out of the 3. If you want return, you need to sacrifice on risk or liquidity. If you want liquidity, you need to sacrifice on return. You understand now? So the moral of the story is, you need to decide how much risk you are willing to accept, what kind of a liquidity you are willing to accept, and then you have to decide on return composition.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mr. Naresh, so how long have you been managing here in Principal Asset Management?
I have been in this company for 18 months, but Principal Asset Management, even though it looks like a new name, has been in this market for a very long time.
Okay, now so let's flashback your personal story, Mr. Naresh. So you're originally from India, right? So when did you first come to Indonesia?
I came in 1997. The interesting story is, the day I was flying into Jakarta, the headlines in Jakarta Post was saying the Indonesian rupiah weakened from 2,400 to 2,440 because of the Thai baht weakness. So the moral of the story is, I landed in Indonesia on the day the Asian financial crisis was hitting Indonesia, and I had no clue about it. So that was my starting point. Okay,
so did you came from a financial background?
Yes. I've been in the Indian mutual fund industry, and so I had almost 7 years experience in India before I moved into Indonesia.
Okay, so why did you choose Indonesia in the first place?
I did not choose Indonesia. Indonesia chose me, you understand? So I don't think so anybody in India looked towards Indonesia for career in the financial services industry. Most of them look only towards US and Middle East maybe. And I always liked Singapore and Hong Kong because they are seen as the regional capital for the business that we are in. So I always had a dream to work in Singapore. So I was looking for an opportunity in Singapore. Somehow my resume landed up with somebody in Indonesia. They got excited. They invited me. And I said like, wow, invitation to attend the interview in Jakarta was fascinating. So I just came in here, and that's the starting point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you landed a job in Indonesia. What was your first job here in Indonesia?
I was actually helping a company to run their mutual fund business way back in 1997.
Okay, so how long have you been in the industry?
In the industry, so I've been both in the investment management and life insurance industry. Put together, it is almost 30 years I've been in it. I don't want to say this because it's not going to help my profile, but I think I have 30 years under my belt in the financial services industry.
Okay, fun question. Did you actually, have ever worked in Singapore as you wished?
No. I visited Singapore a lot, but I was lucky I worked in Hong Kong. So I was blessed to work in Hong Kong for 3 years. I ran M&A for a multinational life insurance company covering the whole of Asia.
So what are the differences you think between Indonesian and other markets in the world?
I think every market has interesting pros and cons and opportunity. I'm very much excited about Indonesia because as a country, I have gone through ups and downs with Indonesia, correct? As I said, I came in 1997. Then I saw the 1998 political crisis. Then from 2000 onwards, we saw the country coming back. And I also enjoyed my career. From 2000 onwards, I was able to build my success in my own career because of the macroeconomic progress made by Indonesia. So I've gone through ups and downs of my career with Indonesia, so I'm a little bit more biased towards Indonesia. And it is all about how you are capturing that and converting those opportunities into meaningful stories is what life is all about.
So is your favorite investment instrument is mutual fund?
So when I was young, it was 100% into the equity market. Equity market includes direct equity investments as well as equity mutual funds across the world. Wherever there is a story, I have invested across the world. As I change, my personal circumstances change. You get married, you have a kid, you become a family person, and then you're moving towards a very different stage in life. My asset allocation model also has moved accordingly. So today, I think my portfolio has a very good balance between direct equities, mutual funds and equities.
So you mentioned age factor and then risk management factor. Do you think there's a heavy correlation between both? As you grow, wiser and older, do you really need to take that risk into consideration?
You don't need to. It all depends upon your personal circumstances and your cash flows. I can give you a very simple example. It is easier if I give you an example. Let's say you want to send your kid to education, correct? You are saving for your kid education, correct? Now, if you're putting it in a very high volatile instrument, and when the kid is about to reach college, let's say the market is not working in your favor, you have an issue, correct? And the next thing is, let's say something happens to you, what will happen? It will be much more bigger issue. You understand? No? So I think so it depends upon what is the requirements you have in your life. And then how do you prepare for that requirement? That is what will determine which asset class you want, or which diversification you need, when do you need the liquidity, all that comes into play. You understand now? So that's why when you go into your later stages in life, we will request them a little bit more focus will be on income and it is more of cash flow. You understand now? You may have all the apartments and houses, etc., but you are not able to sell, you are not able to rent it out, and you are not able to generate cash. So you may be asset rich, but you can be cash poor, correct? So during your retirement stage, retirement income is very, very critical. Cash flow is very critical, and that is how we help people to choose the right asset classes for the right requirement. It is not as simple as that. It will depend upon each individual, their life status, their expectations, requirements. So there are so many things that we need to take into consideration before coming up with a recommendation.
Okay, so we are talking about allocation.
Yeah.
How much people need to allocate their money to retirement funds, or if they want to build a family, or if they want to build a house. So
the purpose of money is very, very simple. It is only for you to buy goods and services. Except for that, the money is no use to us. Now, if you have money today, you can go and buy, let's say, a nice car. The purpose of investment is you don't do that. So that means you're sacrificing your today's requirement. Today you have money, you can go and buy it. But you are not doing it because you are sacrificing your today's consumption need so that you want to provide it for the later day. You understand now? And that means whatever money we are not spending today should be able to buy that or more in the future. So the whole purpose of investing in simple terms is basically to maintain your purchasing power. You understand now? That is the purpose. And then many people think like, hey, I have money and I have 10 billion and the 10 billion is safe, correct? But they don't understand the 10 billion, if it is in a time deposit, and if it is earning less than the inflation rate, its purchasing power itself is going down over a period of time. You understand now? So that is the reason why the asset allocation is basically to help you manage the inflation and maintaining your purchasing power. So if you keep your money in time deposit or any instrument that is giving less than the rate of inflation, you are basically losing your purchasing power. If you are putting your money in, let's say, bond, and you are getting the rate of inflation, that means you're maintaining your purchasing power. Any instrument where you are able to get over and above the inflation rate, then you are growing your purchasing power. You understand now? And when you keep your money for a longer period of time, it becomes much, much more important that you need to continue to grow them. So if you have time on your side, and if you are saving for long term, equity is the best asset class. But you also need to provide for day-to-day requirement, correct? So that's why we always say at least 6 months of your monthly expenses, you need to keep it in cash and cash equivalent. And we also say that you don't need to invest everything one time. You need to build the habit of saving regularly so that you can achieve your objective through the process.
Okay, that's interesting. And Mr. Naresh, do you mind sharing your tips on building solid financial career for young financial workers?
Success doesn't come easily. It comes through only hard work and smart work. So my recommendation to the youngsters who want to build a career in the financial services industry is, first of all, you need to be ready to serve others. You understand now? The most important thing is everything that we do, if we do it in the right manner, it is going to impact all our customers. Let's say, even if I have only 30,000 customers, we are impacting 30,000 lives, and we are impacting 30,000 families, and that gives you a lot of satisfaction.
Okay, so would you mind telling us your proudest achievement so far?
I think I'm quite satisfied with everything that I've achieved in my life. But if you really look at the most satisfying moment in my life, it is not the business I grew, but how I managed crisis is where I derive the most satisfaction. I don't know, many Indonesians may not be aware, Indonesia went through a serious bond market crisis in the year 2005. You understand now? Many companies in Indonesia could not pay the redemption proceeds of the investors. But I was one of the few in the business that we were running. We were able to pay back every customers within 48 hours of receipt of redemption request over a 6 months period. So we lost almost 80% of our AUM, okay, almost 8 trillion in a matter of 6 months period, but we were able to pay back to each and every investor in full. You understand now? Managing that and delivering that, I think that would be the hallmark of my career, I would say, and I would be considering that as the best achievement, I would say.
Do you still have anything that you wish to achieve in this life?
I think right now I have only one ambition, and that is how can I double the AUM of principal asset management and ensure that my team has a very strong career. How do we grow principal asset management in Indonesia to be one of the top player in Indonesia is what is our current focus, and that is what we are working towards too.
Okay, we can't wait to see that day coming. And one last question for you, Mr. Naresh. Yeah. What is your definition of success?
Success means different things to different people. You understand now? I think at this stage in my life, success is what is the impact that you are bringing to the society. In modern days, your ecosystem, you understand now? What is the impact that you are bringing to your ecosystem? That is what is success is, correct? So for me, if I'm able to contribute to Indonesia, contribute to the Indonesian mutual fund industry, contribute to the Indonesian financial services industry, most importantly, my team and my friends and my colleagues in the industry at large, and that keeps me alive and that keeps me excited because I'm looking for the next story for Principal in Indonesia.
I have no doubt about that. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Mr. Naresh.
Thank you. It was a pleasure sharing my story with you as well. I really appreciate your patience. Thank you very much.
Sahabat Penasihat, itu dia tadi perbincangan kita bersama dengan Mr. Naresh Krishnan, President Director dan juga CEO dari Principal Asset Management. Mudah-mudahan bisa memberikan banyak insight nih, terutama buat sahabat penasihat yang masih muda, masih energetik dan masih panjang lagi nih perjalanan investasi ke depan. Sampai jumpa lagi sahabat penasihat di episode Hidden Masters berikutnya. Hai sahabat Mirai Aset, jangan lupa untuk tulis di kolom komentar di bawah ini siapa master yang akan kita undang berikutnya di Hidden Masters. Jangan lupa untuk like, share, dan subscribe untuk terus menyaksikan kisah-kisah inspiratif dari para masters hanya di Hidden Masters. Sampai jumpa di episode berikutnya.